Good afternoon, everybody. Wee Paddy from across the shop. How you doing? Strap yourselves in. This could be a long one. This is. I want to talk about this. Look, this top knife is the knife we're going to talk about. This tiddly little knife here that seems to cause controversy. Um, and it seems to be controversial to people who don't like sort of GEC or high-end knives, or I wouldn't pay that money for that little knife or whatever. There seems to be so much of it about, um, even amongst GEC people that maybe don't like smaller knives. As you know, I like big, small, in between, doesn't really matter. But I do have a penchant for little knives, and I have a large collection of little knives, which I'm not going to get them all out, but I've got a few out just to see if it makes any sense to people why they sometimes they'll criticize a knife, and then on the other hand, I know in their collection they'll have one. Uh, Sort of throws me. Why buy a knife if you're not going to use it? That's my um, thought process. But this to me is a beautiful knife, beautiful blade on it. I've set it down beside this knife is about an inch bigger than this. This is a full size 3 7/8 pocket knife. This is 2 7/8. A little small, tiddly, but it's actually only an inch smaller. So there we go. This is a full-size pocket knife with a full-size blade. This is another GEC. This one's an abalone with a lovely clip point blade. And it's just a beautiful knife. And I've yet to do a full review on this one, but it's coming. So I'm going to take it out of the way just for the minute, because I want to do size comparisons first before I get into the detail of this. There's this little nice open. And look, I'm not going to do it with cloths. It doesn't bother me if there's a fingerprint in the knife. Um, so there's the little knife. Isn't it just beautiful? Isn't it? Isn't that gorgeous? Look at that Warncliffe blade. It is perfectly done, perfectly straight. It's the one thing about GEC, it's perfectly straight. There's not any hint of a waver in that blade. It is beautiful. It is a lovely big clip across the top, or a clip, a relief. Look at that, how thin that is across the top. That swedge on both sides makes it look almost needle-like. Have you ever wanted to get a splinter out? Look, I'm just going to show you my hand. I've done this before. And it just plucks the skin. Absolutely not a problem. A beautiful little scalpel of a knife. And a really useful knife. And I'll sort of get back into why I call it really useful. I'm going to put down some comparisons. Shall we put them? No, we'll put them this way. I'll put them underneath it. People say they don't like small knives, yet most knife collectors in the world, or just people who have knives about them, there is a peanut. So, I mean, the blade is a little bit bigger in the peanut, but I would, now this is a Rough Rider peanut, but they're all roughly that same size, a peanut knife. Look at the difference in the girth and the blade, the difference of them two. Now, people love peanuts and use peanuts, and I do, and they're a great little knife to have in a fifth pocket that you can just pull out, cut a bit of string, put it back in your pocket, and it doesn't frighten anybody. Is it meant for hard use? No. It's just a little secondary knife that if you've got a nice wee job, you take it out, you cut a wee bit of string, you cut round something, and that's it. It's a knife. It cuts things. It's a small knife, but it still cut things. Do you know what I mean? And another knife, if you want, if I showed you the girth, here's one that's a little bit wider. Nonetheless, it's the same size. And there's a little canoe blade, which is, the girth is a bit more on it, so you've got better grip, in my opinion. I believe this is better than the peanut, in my eyes. It's got a thicker blade stock, which can do a wee bit more than what I believe the peanut could do. One, because I believe it's a bit thicker in the handle. This is a good solid foundation. I find the peanut sometimes a wee bit wobbly at the end, depending on the construction of the knife. But this is lovely. This is a real nice, there's two blades on it. You can cut away. And look, I can cut down a box with this. I don't know about you. People seem to think you need a 7-inch knife minimum to cut down a cardboard box. I can do it with this just as well as I can do it with that. Is it more comfortable doing it with a bigger knife? Yes. But do you have to get a big knife out to do it? No. That wee knife will do it. And it's not going to do that wee knife any hard. Now, cutting cardboard is about as tough a job as I'm going to do that. I might whittle a bit now with wood. If I had a bit of soft wood, I'd quite happily whittle with that. There's not a problem. Would I want a 7-inch knife to whittle with? No, I'd rather have that because that's its purpose. Cutting bits of string, I'd rather have that. Cutting a photograph out of a newspaper, I'd rather have that. So there's uses for them, and you've got to find out where they fit in your lifestyle. And until you carry one, you're not really going to know. And that's the truth of it. That's life. Until you've used or done something, you're not really going to know. So what I'm going to do is, if you haven't got a small knife and you think they're irrelevant and no good, there's a Rough Rider mini canoe. They cost about £8 or something. Have one of those in your collection. Just take that out and that alone for a whole day and see how many jobs you can't get done on your normal day. Now, I'm not talking about a construction worker. I'm talking about a normal human being. Not a normal. That sounds terrible. By the way, I was a construction worker for a long time. For anybody that just works in an office or does a normal sort of non-construction type job, because to still use that word normal again. Sorry, builders and joiners. Just use one of them. I had a wee competition a while back where I challenged people to carry the knife for the day just to see what they thought of it. And the amount of people, it changed their mind. So be open-minded and try a little knife like that for £8. It's not going to kill you and it'll be in your collection anyway, just for size comparisons. So there's one comparison. And I'm going to start going up a little bit in size. Here's one of my favourite knives, full stop. And this is a case with the same blade shape. I'm going to put this here and put this above it. There you go. Look at that. The Swayback Jack. One of my favourite knives that Case make. One of the best quality knives I believe Case makes. I love this, what I call strawberry jigging in this red bone. But this is a beautiful knife. And I use this one and carry this one so regular. This is now probably going to take its place because this fits in my fifth pocket even better than this. Because sometimes this can pop out the top. This just drops right down into the fifth pocket. A beautiful carry. But again, there's the cutting edge. If I bring the cutting edge up, you can see that there's not a huge amount of difference. The depth of the blade is about the same. The blade thickness down at the base there, it's not far off, something the same. But this goes down to a really lovely needle nose for them delicate cuts that you might want it to do. Both brilliant knives. This to me is one of Case's absolute winners. I have a couple of these. I have another one on Stag, just as a gentleman's carry, a beautiful knife. But how much more of a gentleman's knife is that? I just think because it's in the Northfield collection of GEC, you get the ring bolsters, the pinch bolsters, the shiny blade. You get a few more extras with that Northfield collection of GEC, and I think it's worth every penny to get the extra. So let's get up to a normal size knife. Here is a number 14, which is a small knife anyway. But there's the number 14 with a clip. That's what I call like an average EDC for me as a secondary knife. It'd be the number 14 pattern. It can do anything. It's, again, a little bit bigger. It has a blade length that's a little bit bigger, a little bit more sturdy. You can see the difference in the back now. You'll see the difference in the back spine. It's a little more of a sturdy knife. Comes down to a really good needle nose though as well. But this is much thinner. So these would be one of my favourite carries as a secondary knife, the number 14 pattern. A beautiful, beautiful carry. But looks-wise, I mean, I love this saw cut. Don't get me wrong. This is beautiful. But look at that bone on that. It's my first sort of proper blue bone. I say it's an aqua blue, but it's a navy here. It's like a navy blue here. And these accents on both sides. The bone has been chosen really well. Isn't that just gorgeous? Chosen and worked really well. So there we go. There's a 14. Probably the closest knife I have to size comparison is the small. This is a number 25 pattern, I believe. Let me just double check before I tell you any wee fibs. Oh, it's not on here. I think it's the number 25 pattern. And now this, let me just show you these side by side. They're nearly exactly the same. Maybe an eighth of an inch in it, if anything. Beautiful knives and beautiful blades. This is Sheepfoot, this is a Warncliffe. This is a sturdier frame, again, not by much at the tip. They really do give these tips. And like I don't know about you, I've used plenty of these, but I've never, this is so robust. This reminds me of a knife twice its size, and I carry and use this one probably since I've got this. It's in beautiful snake wood, which I'll give you just a wee. I know I'm showing you different knives now. That's not what this is about, but this is in, camera doesn't do it justice, but that's beautiful snake wood. So well marked, lovely. Northfield trim again, you get that extra little bit with it. But there you go, there's two little knives. And if you put them, when you take them apart, it looks like this is so much bigger and it's so much more sturdy, and this can do an awful lot of work. This is a stunning, it's a three finger really grip. Beautiful knife. This again is a 3-finger grip, and it's so comfortable when it's in hand. Your bottom finger just wraps around the end and you tuck in there. It's so secure. And if you needed to do a wee bit of, look, it's not for heavy use. I always carry 2 knives. It's as simple as that. I always carry 2 knives. So I'm never going to need just this to do any particular job. So what else have we got that you could compare this to? Let's go modern. Is this a modern traditional? This is a man bug. There you go. There's a Spyderco man bug. There's a knife that a man who could have any knife in the world to carry with him at any time, and I'm talking about Sal Glesser, the inventor of Spyderco knives. This is the man bug. This is what he carried in his pocket. I think it was actually the ladybug for years upon years, and used it as his EDC knife. I think he still carries one today. But look at the difference. The blade cutting edge is about the same as this toady little knife here. Is it as thick in the back spring? There you go. Not that much difference, except when you get down to the needle nose finish on this. Again, this is in a much harder steel. This is 1095. This is ZDP 189. But just look at the difference. This little small knife is bigger than the man bug. And how many people out there have got a man bug, but yet when they see something like this, would say, and I'm not, this is not pointing the finger at people. It's just to say that they'll point at a wee knife like this, toady little knife, lovely walk and talk, by the way, very, very light action, but lovely walk and talk. They'll look at a wee knife like this and say, that's no good, I'll never use it. How many man bugs and ladybugs have been sold? And people use them constantly because they're good. They're just handy for little jobs. So, another modern traditional, there's a Delica. What a lovely carry. Is that now? Come on. You have to give me that. If you're not going to agree with nothing else. Main carry, secondary carry. If you want small and on-the-go carry, what's better than that? But isn't that just beautiful? I think that's a lovely carry. In fact, that might just get carried. I don't carry this very much. I'll carry this more than this. But yeah, that looks like a that's tomorrow's picture, I think. I really like that. That is gorgeous. So, that's it. That's all the knives I'm going to show you. Sorry for going on a wee bit there, but I just think it was worth going through what a small knife can do for you in your collection, apart from looking like this. And if you're at a wedding and somebody wants you to cut a tag off a present or open a box or open a present, cut a bit of tape, is that not just a beautiful little knife to take out of your pocket? How could that scare anybody? And the simple answer is, it couldn't. I meant to say to you, the last couple of times I come on here, my nails are filled. I've actually been working, I've been trying to sort out, I've been using my peening hammer and trying to sort out a wee old traditional knife, a wee antique knife. And I've actually now got it clamped in a vise really tight to see if I can move a blade across. So I've been working away, and then I just thought, no, I need to do this video today. This to me is GEC proving their worth. Now, I got these were under £100, and you would expect that for a little small knife. But It takes no less work to do this than it does to do this. The size really doesn't make a difference to the work. You have every process in this that you have in this, but yet they do. GEC are, I honestly believe, for the work that they put in, and a lot of it's handcrafted tradesmen who have had to learn over a long period of time how to do such work. And the price that they charge for what they do, I believe, I'm going to put my neck out here, I believe they're the best value knives on the market for what you're getting, for how it takes to make them, and to keep that tradition alive, and the machinery, which is most of it all over 100-year-old. I just think it's the best value knife out there. The best value. When you think that that little bit of plastic with a little bit of metal in it is the same price as that. That's crazy. How long does it take to make that compared to that? Let me tell you, this is like something that fell on the floor and was put together compared to the procedure that goes through in this. I'm going to walk you around this knife. You've got brass liners. Look how tight that is. That's a tiny little knife, all done by hand, assembled by hand, pinned by hand. Look at the accuracy in the fitment of that bone. It's just amazing. I rub my fingers over transitions, but it's just to see what the attention to details like. And GEC, you very rarely, sometimes you might get a little raggedy edge, but that'll be as bad as you'll get. There's a termination at the end of it. It's beautifully clean inside, absolutely gorgeous. It's got a half stop. It doesn't slam down. It's just a small knife. The pull's about a 2 or a 3, and that's all it is. It's just a little small dinky knife to put in your fifth pocket that you can bring out without scaring anybody, and put it away or have it in your hand, and nobody will ever see this knife. Gorgeous. Now, have I convinced you about a small knife? Let me know down below. If you like small knives, you'll know how much I'm excited about this. This is the Little Rattler. I didn't even say the name. It's the Little Rattler. It's the newest model of small knife from GEC. Not long out. I think it was just the end of last year. And it comes in different blades, different handle materials. It comes in the basic Tidiute version, which has a picture of a little rattler on the blade, where this is the Northfield, which just has the usual Northfield stamp. They don't go in for fancy pictures and all on a Northfield. It's the more restrained version. So there you go. Beautiful little knife. Will get a lot of pocket time. A lot of pocket time. Will it ever get a scratch? I don't know, but it will cut lots of tape. It will cut bits of thread. It will, it'll do anything. It'll open a box. It's a beautiful little knife for opening a box and putting your finger there and judging how deep you want to go. You do that all yourself and then just score it. Beautiful little knife. So, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening to my old ranting there. But, this is wee small knives. And I've always said this. Don't underestimate a little small knife for what it can do to you in your daily life. What it can do for you, not to you. Take care, everybody. Paddy's way to put all these knives back again where they belong. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care. God bless you. Bye.